What's up, y'all? This is Rom with yet another car video, but this ain't going to be car Rom. This is going to be former political analyst Rom. And this is going to be rare because, when I'm in the car, I'm like always cutting up and everything, cursing and all of that. But this is a serious matter. I mean, the big news is that a draft opinion of the Roe of a court case that will overturn Roe v. Wade has been leaked. Now I know some people are like yes, and some people are like, they're ready to protest. I'm not coming from either angle. Now I have a definite position on it, but I'm gonna keep my personal opinion to myself and look at it from more of a cold-blooded analytical perspective. Cold-blooded analytical. The Supreme Court allowing states to set their own, abortion laws, right against, whatever stipulations they have. Well, that's state by state. But people have to realize, regardless of your position, there's always a repercussion. Now, depending on the side you're sitting on, it could be good, it could be bad. Now, as I said, I'm keeping my personal position to myself because I see something that I'm really got to keep to myself, something long term. And let's put it like this. I'll put it like this. It's something I don't think a lot of proponents of overthrowing Roe v. Wade actually thought about. And I'm just curious if to somebody bring it up, but it's a very significant one. But one of the things with it, as you look at this, try to get past your personal feelings, put them to the side, put your emotions to the side and everything, and just be cold-blooded. Look at it analytically. What kind of effects does it have on many levels, on social levels? Like on my members only, I did talk about the relationship dynamics. I did talk about it, and if you on my members only, since you support me in that way, then y'all know what I thought about that. And that was just brief, early in the morning. But one of the things is you look at it more and more, and this is just a cursory look, because a real study of it, we talking weeks and months, and then observing what's actually happening. But just a basic, just throwing some stuff to think about out there. Well, first of all, it's kind of convenient that this thing leaked. And it's last time something leaked, as far as something with the Supreme Court, you got to go back to the Nixon days. I forgot right now, I don't have it on me. It was something with the Nixon administration that leaked. But you got to think about it. Something like that leaked. Oh, that's awfully convenient. So think about the political angle with that, because, a lot of people see what the Republicans are doing, but think, oh, well, the Democrats will just sit back. It's like, no. Even though they both two sides of the same coin, politics is dirty. Now, I can see a bunch of Democratic politicians, that'll be their talking point. Like, don't be surprised if there's an unusually high turnout of Democrats in November. Because usually Republicans are very good in in midterms, very good in midterms and stuff. Especially when their party doesn't have the White House. Because Republicans always vote. Democrats are funny, but I have a feeling that that's a major talking point that they'll use. So, and that's just political. That's just a power thing. But think about it economically. You have some states where abortion is the law. It's the law. And interestingly enough, these are also states where have a higher amount of people with money, counties with money and stuff. And I could see economically it could affect the states that enact abortion, just people moving back and forth, just people moving back and forth saying, well, I want to move to a state that has that right, especially women who want total reproductive control. So no telling how that could affect the economies of states. See, understand something. States, the economy of a state is really based on the tax base within the state. the businesses, the people, and everything. If there's a drop in that affects the services in the state. Because when you talk about an economy, demographics is important. So you'll have stuff like that. Something that's to consider. Something ways people might develop a whole industry just to like get people to these states and stuff, to these states. And because I even seen some report of abortion underground. I was like people just don't take stuff sitting down. And then despite someone, regardless of what laws they put in states, there's still a political matter, because what happens if a state changes over? Like you have a state like the state of Georgia, which it turned blue for the election, and then there's a strong the demographic change in Georgia affects a lot. You don't know how that can affect other states, and you never know when the laws could change there. So that's just political, but social dynamics and stuff of that matter. Gotta look at that. How will women in states where they criminalize abortion or don't allow abortion, how will they respond to the men that they deal with? Because then they got to start thinking, wait a minute, there's a real issue here. Oh, and on an economic thing, corporations, businesses that promote different types of birth control. At last count, 32 types of just regular birth control. Are the CEOs in those businesses like sitting up and like thinking to themselves, oh yeah, here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go. Hey, Kiki. Hey. It's so much. How would that affect something? And then, there's something very, I don't want to point out this one thing. I don't want to take a chance, because let's just say certain people, and they're not conservative people, could take advantage of one outcome of that. And it's a big one. I'm willing to bet some people didn't think about that. And it's a very powerful thing, which can affect, quite frankly, the politics, economics, and everything for the next 20 years. Well, in 20 years, I'll put it like that. In 20 years, really sooner. But it's I don't know why. This is one little thing. One little thing. But it's so much to it. See, that's the whole issue, though. There's so many little and major angles, because this is a watershed event, and they haven't really, and officially they haven't made the ruling yet. But and then, like I said, I strongly suspect someone with Democratic leanings leaked that document. And quite frankly, if there's a way to prosecute them, it should be. It should be, regardless of where you are, because we have to keep the rule of law in this country. We have to keep the rule of law, because if you start getting to that point, some things need to be sacred. Now, it could be the accurate thing and everything. I don't think they're going to change their mind. They don't need to. But we got to think about other things. A lot of things going on. But even though there'll be differences, like try to think about it, the bigger picture. Like I said, it might seem like a victory, but there's so many other things that it'll affect. How many people's lives it'll affect? What if somebody in a small town, with limited services, because the tax base is small, because all the people with money moved out to another state, how would that affect them? It's so many little things. And I'm just sharing this. This is just very brief, but understand something. When you look at any event, you got to think about the long-term consequence of it. Like, I give you an example. Not so much even when Roe v. Wade first passed, but just the invention of just an effective birth control pill. How many lives, how many families, how many children weren't born? How did that affect different areas and everything? And even with this, like, here's something to consider. Okay, you criminalize abortion. A lot of the poorer people, poorer women, they won't be able to, like, maybe get it. They won't be able to afford it. And somebody say, well, yeah, all the kids will be born. Okay, so are you willing to use? You got to think, what type of tax dollars go to support those children? Instead of the woman stopping maybe at 3, what happens when she's having 5 and 6, and all of them on state assistance? I'm serious. You got to think about it. And that's not just one thing. You got to think about every little thing. Like, if I were to do like a serious study, it would take a few months, because I would look at every single thing. Like, I just gave just a very brief outline. There's probably some factors that I'm not even thinking about right now, because one thing, and as I always pointed out, I mean, I know some people see me in a car or see me whatever, but they have to remember I have a strong academic background. You got to study everything, and sometimes something will pop up and you just like for those of you who have advanced degrees, how often have you worked on your thesis or major term paper or project, and you're working on something, and then all of a sudden something pops up you're not even thinking about? So there's so much to it. Now, like I said, people who know me privately know how I feel about that issue, and it's a personal reason why I feel about that issue. But looking at the bigger picture, this is significant. It's a watershed event, and it might not turn out the way it do, because for the one reason I gave a clue to, but I didn't point out that one single reason. It's like, wow. I know some people say, "Who can you tell us?" Well, no. That's how powerful that reason is. That's how significant, and I don't need extra tracking. Seriously. But it's significant. I put it like this. There's some people licking their chops. There's certain individuals, certain groups licking their chops. And they're like, oh, yeah, damn you. Thank you. And that is not for the reason you think. I'll just say those certain people are not conservative, and I'll leave it at that. But it's a lot to it, and just real quick, it's deeper than the whole Democrat-Republican thing too. But that's still a factor. Now, everything else though, it's still a factor. It's, if you're actually going to look at this issue, you look at everything, think about everything, because I was looking at the states that had abortion is codified and everything, and I was like, those are states with more money. And everything. It's like, okay, yeah, follow the money, think about stuff, and I mean, it happens and everything, but and honestly, that's with any event, anything significant, any court ruling. Like, if you look at Citizens United, how did that affect our elections? Corporations, there's no limit on how much they spend on candidates and stuff. So it's like, hey, how's that affecting stuff? Like, pay attention to everything, every detail. Even if it's tiny, it could be something tiny. But I'll just put it like this: change can come from just some tiny moment. And stuff. And just to be clear, one of the things I've learned, because I was a history major in school and politics minor, it could be something that you're not thinking about, you're not looking at, the media isn't talking about, because the media feeds people. Somebody ain't thinking about it. It's like, oh, it's been there all along, but nobody's paying attention to it. I want you to think about that. So if you're going to really like, if you're gonna really look at it all, take emotion out of it and start looking. Start listening to different pundits, even if they diametrically opposed. Listen to both, the conservative, liberal, whoever. Listen to the feminists. Listen to the guys who are more patriarchal. Listen to the Christians. Listen to the atheists. Then, even then, still try to say, okay, let me extrapolate. All right, what can happen with this situation? What can happen with that situation? It's something to think about. And honestly, Ed, let me just be clear on something. Yeah, I know on here I talk about usually man gets woman and then ultimately man being sovereign. But the thing is, you still got to pay attention to the overall environment. You have to pay attention to what's going on in the overall environment, because like it or not, it affects you. I don't care if you're an incel. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're a player. I don't care what you is. You got one woman, no women, whatever. Don't even like women, whatever. Everything, you got to pay attention to everything, because it touches you one way or the other. It touches you, even if it's minor. It still touches you. It could be in your favor. It still touches you. So if you're going to look at this, now this is for serious scholars too. If you just somebody, you just want some entertainment, you want to be something to be emotional over until, the next big thing happens, okay, go for it. But this for my serious scholars. Like I say, anybody who know me know more than anything else I'm a scholar. I joke and stuff, but, I joke like a trickster and stuff. I might be joking about something, but when you see me, the camera's off, I'm not smiling. Got very serious demeanor and everything because I'm thinking about something. So, like, seriously, pay attention to every little thing. And like I said, shoot, look at both sides of it. Take your emotion out of it. Take your emotion out of it. And you got to be cold-blooded. You got to be like, okay, what's actually happening? Because the very thing that's happening could affect you. Think about what state you live in. I live in Maryland. There's no issue with it. But what if I lived in a southern state, and it's so many things. You get some women. Let me just say something. Let me bring the woman thing into it real quick. Guys with money and everything, be careful where you stick your shit. If you're in a state, man, you can't be like, well, you go get an abortion, because that's a game right there. Some women, they get that guy and they say, well, I'm having a baby. Oh, can't have an abortion. You can't force anything. Somebody could be on child support. Seriously, think about the court system. Every little piece. Because this is significant. This is going to be significant. This is significant. And then there's that one little piece. I'm amazed. I think I seen one article that even brought it up. And even that article didn't look at the implications of it. And I'm going to be real. If you say it in the comments, I'm going to heart the comment, because I always do. As long as it's respectful, I'm going to heart it. And let's just be clear. It's nothing you can say or do that's right or wrong. It's what you see. But like I said, let me just emphasize that. Look at the whole picture. Now, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be paying attention. I ain't going to give my results or what I'm seeing. I'm just going to look at it. Especially one little piece that I'm not saying. All right, but it's interesting. It's significant. It's significant, y'all. And this is, like I said, this is for serious dudes. If you're a serious scholar, or you just a man seriously, or a woman, if you on here watching this and you seriously want to say, okay, what's the overall repercussions of this? It's deeper than just some babies being born or not being born. It's deep. It's deep. It's so many things. It's shit. It's something. So, anyway, that's all I have for today. I want y'all to seriously think about what I'm saying. Seriously ponder. And I can't emphasize more than enough. Take your emotion out of it. Be like a cold-blooded analyst. Be a cold-blooded analyst about it. Just say, okay, what's going on and stuff. Because really, look, let me just add some more. Add some more to this. Because I did a video talking about don't hold on to anger against someone. And you know, I had some pushback, and somebody say, "Yeah, anger's righteous and stuff." I say, "No, but you're in your emotion. When you're dealing with a major problem, you gotta be cold-blooded about it. You gotta take it out so you can see every angle of it, not just what you want to see or what feeds your anger or what you think is alleviating the anger. You gotta see it. When you see the big picture, then you're like, oh shit, and everything it doesn't go according to plan or something. All right. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Seriously, thank all that. Shout out to all my real scholars, researchers. Let me shout out the Equalizer. He know who he is, man. Hit me up privately, man. Tell me what you see. All right, and I get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.